All right, guys, this is Dr. Jason Toretto. Hope everybody's doing really well. And let's get started with our Q&A. Today, what I want to talk to you about is the referral generating or the patient generating referral advice that most coaches aren't really going to tell you. So let's kind of get started. So these are some of my greatest referral tips. And again, you may not feel comfortable with what I'm about to tell you, but this is a reality, and this is the truth. Okay, this is the truth. Now, when it comes to generating referrals, you have to ask yourself, what type of a practice do you have? Do you have a practice that is based upon creating contracts with patients, or do you have a practice which is based upon building relationships inside your practice, building your relationships with your patients? It's going to be either or, right? So for example, let me give you an example. A practice that offers long-term care plans that expects patients to prepay for their care. Right? That means getting money in advance, asking for money in advance, and creating a contract on that. Well, that's going to be a contract-based practice. Right? If that's what you're doing with patients, decompression and things like that, you're asking for money in advance. That's a contract that you're making with the patients. That's a contract-based practice. Any practice that, and a practice that usually doesn't keep good communication with their patients before they get into the office, and especially after they pay and they start care, that's going to be a contract-based practice. Why should you have to communicate with your patients? You've already gotten paid, your prepay. You can get lazy at that point. For example, a practice that does not get a lot of referrals. And when I say does not get a lot of referrals, patient referrals, and I'm talking, let's talk percentage-wise. I mean, you should be getting at least 60 to 70% of your business, of your referrals, or of your new patients should be coming in from existing patients, right? Patient referrals. So if you're not at least 60 to 70% patient referral based for your new patients, then you're more than likely you're going to be a contract based practice. And look, you might be okay with that, okay? But that's going to cause you to do a lot more external marketing. So a contract based practice requires you to do much more external marketing. It requires you to spend a lot more money. Sometimes it requires you to, and it also requires you to always have to be looking for new patients into your practice, right? You're literally always trying to push people into your practice. That's just what you're trying to do. Now, let's look on the flip side. Let's talk about a practice that is based upon building relationships with your clients. Well, when you're building relationships with your clients, these patients aren't sold any type of long-term care. They're not sold any type of long-term contract. They're not sold any type of prepay. And so they're not sold into anything. These patients are usually attracted to you. They want to come to you. It's easy to come to you, right? Those patients that come in, they don't have a contract with you, so they're not forced to come in. In their brain, they're not thinking, well, I've already paid for this, I might as well come in. Those patients don't have to be there. Those patients want to be there. That's what they want to do. They want to be there, right? They haven't spent money already. They're going to spend money when they get to your office. So a practice that is based upon building relationships with your patients, that type of practice is a practice that has a lot of referrals a lot of new patients that are coming from patient referrals. Patients are happy to be there, So they tell other people about that, about your office. And it's because those relationships are nurtured. Practices that are based upon creating contracts with your patients, those practices are usually doctors that are usually concerned with things like patient visit average. They're usually concerned with case fees, how much money they can make on a particular case. They're usually concerned with the amount of collections that they make from the contracts. Practices that are based upon building relationships with your patients, what they focus on is they focus on how they can create a better experience for their patients and how they can create more value for their patients and how they can create a much better relationship with their patients. And they're also concerned with how they can nurture that relationship, make it stronger. That's what they're concerned with every single month. Because they know that if they do that, then those patients are going to refer more and more and more. And for that reason, they don't have to go out and go do a lot more external marketing. Now, I believe that relationship practices that focus on building relationships, they really focus on. It's almost like dating a person. You're focused on providing great value. You're focused on building a relationship with that person, and the most important thing is the lifetime value of that patient. Although that patient may not spend as much money in the very beginning, like you'd get with a contract patient or in a contract-based practice, you know that if you build the correct relationship with that patient, that over time, that patient will become much more valuable to you when you're building those relationships. And that patient will become more valuable to you financially than a contract-based practice patient can ever do. Because a contract-based patient or practice, it will be limited in the amount of money that you make. If you have most patients will buy one contract. Most patients will not refer. And I'm talking about patients that are from contract-based businesses, practices. A patient that is treating in an office that is a relationship-based practice, built on relationships, nurturing relationships, is a patient that's going to continuously come on their own. You don't have to tell them to be there. You just need to keep good communication with them. And that patient is going to continuously refer over and over and over again. And that's what I try to teach in my program. That's exactly what I teach. That's my style of practice. That's not necessarily everybody's style of practice. I totally understand that. But this is my best advice, 32 years in practice. This is the easiest way to practice, less headaches, and the most lucrative way that you can practice. Okay, guys, and I also believe that this is the way chiropractic actually was meant to be, because I've never heard the history or stories of Dee or BJ Palmer selling long-term care plans. If you have, please send that over to me. I'd love to take care of it. I'd love to read that. Last time I checked, Harvey Lillard was cured with one adjustment. He didn't give him a program of 3 times a week for the next 3 to 4 months. All right, guys. Little controversial, but I'm just trying to give you the shortcuts in practice. All right, guys, you want to learn some more of this stuff? Go to the Practice Accelerator. I'll help teach you every single thing and take you step by step on building your 7-figure practice. All right, guys, take care.